Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation on turning stress into success. In today's training, I'm going to cover the 5 ways successful entrepreneurs use epic emotional strength to build their empires, their impact, and their income, all while experiencing epic health, happiness, and freedom. So some of the things that we're going to cover today include the following: the real reason your empire isn't expanding, why the best business strategy is not actually a business strategy at all, and how to become magnetic to your ideal client and a 5-star team. And we're going to look at whether the health industry is actually making you sick while you're trying to build your empire and live your life. Now, another area we're going to cover that's really exciting is about hacking human performance and potential so that you can achieve all that you want to achieve in the quickest, easiest, most enjoyable way possible. And really, the big difference between people who hope to succeed and people who actually do. Now, what do I mean by epic emotional strength? Well, I mean that instead of being chronically sensitive, reactive, and impacted by things that are happening externally and internally, and living in a continual state of stress and tension and bracing and surviving and straining like you're climbing an uphill battle with the wind, pulling you back, that instead of that, that you can become so strong in your emotional capacity that you can consistently execute on your priorities in everything and with everyone in your life and create the epic outcomes you want for your business, for your life, for your entire empire, that everything that you are responsible for, everything that's included in that, your whole business, your family, your relationships, your community, everything that matters to you, right? That you can create those epic outcomes that you want without static or struggle or strain. And now, isn't that what you want after all? Isn't that why you're building an empire in the first place? So you can live a life free from stress and full of the kind of success you're actually seeking. Okay, now that we've got that straight, let's take a look at the real reason your empire isn't expanding. The real reason your empire isn't expanding the way that you want it to is because you have not built it from a foundation of epic emotional strength. And when it's not built from a foundation of epic emotional strength, then you're operating on a rocky foundation in everything that you do. The number one way that successful entrepreneurs build their empires is to be able to lead everything from strength instead of stress. Because if you're trying to build your empire out of a foundation of stress, then the only outcome you can expect is stress. So the way that entrepreneurs who successfully build the empires they want do it is that they turn their stress into success. Now, while I know that's what you're going for, I know you're probably wondering whether it's really possible to feel so emotionally strong that you don't feel emotional stress. Well, I'm glad that you asked, because that's exactly what happens when you train emotions like stress that you're used to having to instead behave the way that you want them to, so that you can have the real kind of success that you want, which we call emotional success, right? So there's a way in which you've got to train your stressful emotions to become successful emotions. And not only is this possible, but it's necessary in this modern age to emotionally equip yourself to lead your empire, which includes everything that you do and you're in charge of and responsible to, and it includes everyone in it. This is critical to not only survive in this modern age, but to keep up with the new standards for success that are rapidly evolving every day in this competitive marketplace, just to meet the basic demands of modern life, let alone the demands of your dreams. Okay, so in reality, what's going on right now is that there are big winners, and then there are people that are just falling behind. They're breaking down, they're melting down, they're working harder than ever and getting nowhere, right? And then there's the group of us that are living in this very emotionally strong lifestyle, and we're leading the charge while others are living in a lifestyle of chronic stress that is honestly because you're living in an outdated lifestyle emotionally, right? You're using the old emotional operating system that does not work in this day and age. And even though you're trying to develop yourself in all of these different ways, and you have all this information from the internet, and it's just got floodgates of information, the reality is, if you're still operating on an old emotional outdated operating system, then you will not be able to have the success that you are seeking, right? The reality is, when you're operating at your highest emotional strength and therefore your highest emotional capacity, then you've got access to all of your capacity as a person. And when you have that, that's going to lead you to a life of full potential that is ever expanding and limitless and enjoyable and stressless the way that you want it to be. Now, the other way is that if you're in the old emotional operating system and just, wishing something's going to change, or using the old outdated ways of trying to make yourself better, then that is all going to lead you to continually be in and stay in a lifestyle of strain and struggle, where you're imploding, where you're exhausted, where the wear and tear is just, bringing such a level of intensity and tension that your being, it just feels like it's dying, and your body feels like it's falling apart at the seams. And this is the lifestyle that leads to just more vulnerability, working harder for less, just absolutely trying to fix a bunch of symptoms of yourself and your business. And this is a lifestyle that's chronically trying to get more people and things to solve this problem. You're also, this is a lifestyle that lands you in the doctor's office and the therapist's office and the pharmacy your whole life. And this sets up that thing that happens to people where, as they're going through life, instead of building steam and generating more because you've got so much wisdom from your life, instead, you end up completely burning out, and you end up sitting on the sidelines, and you are worn out and unfulfilled, and you are game over before your time. You're sitting on the sidelines instead of using this emotional strength and this high operating capacity that you can achieve to truly generate and scale your life as you go without an ounce more of stress. Now, doesn't that sound like what you were going for when you thought that starting a business was going to be the answer to what is really a serious emotional operating capacity issue, right? And it's okay. It's not your fault. This is what everyone thinks, right? But in reality, we're in a world now that is so overstimulating, right? So people are chronically overstimulated. They're overwhelmed. They are just breaking down, shutting down, and they're in a chronic state of survival, right? But still, they try everything, and they're not emotionally strong enough to just survive the day, right? Without a whole bunch of pain and difficulty and strain and a bunch of dysfunction, let alone being able to thrive in the way they want to and create the empires that they're actually capable of, right? So even though everybody's got all these amazing innovative ideas and all of this great purpose and so much heart and soul people are putting into things and so much desire to serve, they don't have the emotional strength that they need. What ends up happening is there's just this gap between your intelligence and the purpose-driven parts of you, right? And the emotional strength and the capacity that you actually need to live your life in a way that actually feels like living and to be able to succeed as a result of all of your efforts. This is so important, everyone, because the only way to be successful is you've got to be able to go from intention to outcome consistently with a strong emotional focus that comes from having emotional strength. You've got to build that emotional muscle to fill in the cracks in the foundation so that you can accomplish the things that you intend to without the emotional stuff weighing you down and keeping you stuck. Now, again, look at the other side of this, right? This is so important. This is a difference between surviving and actually being successful in the way that you really intend to. So if this doesn't change, then, you end up like everyone else when you really look at all the statistics going on in our country. So even though we've never had more health information, more inspirational content, the reality is that our statistics for health issues are through the roof. We have 50 million people in this country with an autoimmune disorder and a bunch of people who have one and haven't been diagnosed. We have people in such significant struggles that the anxiety statistics are elevating. So are the depression ones and the addiction statistics. People are absolutely going in the wrong direction, even though they're fighting this uphill battle with all of their might and just getting slammed left and right and basically needing to recover from just being a person. So they never have that consistency. We've never had more debt, more divorce. And look, we've got a ton of high profile people, celebrities, people that I've worked with in my career who, no matter how much resources they've had, if they don't have the emotional strength to be a successful person, then they can create all the success they want. But if that emotional strength isn't there, they will totally buckle under the pressure. Even with multiple rehabs and the best therapists and all the best things that money can buy, they can't fix it. And if there's a reason for that, is because this is about emotional strength. And this is an inside job, and no treating addiction or treating depression or treating anxiety is going to fix it. That is the old way of doing things. And the new way is training emotional strength. Okay, so just get this. You need emotional strength to survive. Just in general, you need it to just be able to meet the demands of modern life. But to become successful as you define it, you've got to have it, and it's not optional. But to be successful in the way that would be your optimal outcome, your optimal vision of your life, where you are living a stressless life, doing what you love, being the highest value person you can be, giving that value and having that value just circulate back to you while you enjoy your life in the most profound way, right? With epic health and happiness and freedom. This emotional strength piece is simply not optional. And just to give you another cold, hard truth here, everyone, which is that the only way to be truly successful is to live without stress, right? Because we're not just talking about accomplishing something. People can do that. That doesn't equate to happiness. That doesn't equate to fulfillment. In fact, that's what's really confusing for people. They're actually going for a certain thing that they want, but in reality, they have to live there already as an emotionally strong, stressless person in order to have the outcomes they really intend in the first place. Otherwise, you'll just create some outcomes and you will be just as stressed as whether or not you created them. And in fact, in many cases, you'll be more stressed. Now, this is stuff that makes me really, really mad because I know everybody is confused by this. You're trying all these things, you're trying to build an empire, but none of this is actually helping you be successful at the emotional, foundational level, which is what is needed for you to live a life of epic health, wealth, happiness, and freedom. I just get so upset when I see people continually being taken advantage of as they're trying to fix a bunch of problems that are actually symptoms of this issue. Symptoms in your body, symptoms in your energy, in your focus, your relationships, and your business, right? And if you keep focusing on the symptoms, you'll never live the life that you want to be living, no matter how much effort and expense you put into it, right? In some cases, people have spent half of their lives on this hamster wheel, and they're just exhausted, frustrated, depleted, angry, and empty of their internal resources and their financial resources, right? And they just can't keep up. This is so expensive for people, and they just experience a tremendous loss of unearned income over time. And then whatever income they're capable of earning without the emotional strength that they need, that income goes out the window trying to fix all the symptoms of these issues. They spend all that income trying to fix the issues that are caused by not having emotional strength in the first place, right? And so it's just a cycle that is incredibly costly and stressful on even more levels. Now, at the same time, what is so exciting, everyone, is that throughout my long extended career, I've worked with hundreds of extraordinary people who had the courage to build those emotional muscles and put their emotional foundation first as their most effective strategy for expanding their empire, expanding their impact, expanding their income, and doing it all while loving their life. Within weeks, they were already experiencing exponentially expanding dividends, huge returns on their investment into their emotional development, tons of energy, vitality, clarity, focus, and capacity to follow through with a relaxation and a stressless experience that creates productivity and prosperity across the board in all different areas of their lives. So it's important to know that things can be dramatically different in a short period of time when you strengthen yourself at the emotional foundational level. Now, this made all the difference, right? Because when you are building your empire with a rock solid emotional foundation with no cracks in it, then you are able to truly build without the strain and stress that typically comes with it. And this is so important to do. Otherwise, you're trying all kinds of different strategies, and all those strategies are being implemented on top of a rocky emotional foundation. So this just will never get you where you want to go, and this is something that it's really important to face up to. And when you do, everything is going to go the way that you actually intended it to. Now, next up, we're going to look at how you too can use your emotional strength to make millions. But just to recap, you've got to emotionally equip yourself to lead your empire. And that means everything and everyone you're responsible to and responsible for. You can't depend on your current emotional capacity to keep you ahead of the curve. You've got to train your emotional capacity and your emotional strength to expand with the ever-expanding, demanding world we are living in. Now, if you've already decided that you want to gain epic emotional strength to build your epic empire from, and join those of us who are living the epic emotionally strong lifestyle, then contact us at drtracy.net and book a breakthrough call so that you can become your greatest asset instead of your greatest liability. Now, if you'd like to continue on with this training, we're going to take a look at why the best business strategy is not a business strategy at all. We're looking at the 5 ways that successful entrepreneurs use epic emotional strength to build their empires while experiencing epic health, happiness, and freedom. And most importantly, how to do all of this without wasting more time and more money on expensive business training and strategies that will never work because the emotional capacity isn't where it needs to be. And most importantly, how to do all of this without wasting more time and money on expensive business training and strategies that will never work because your emotional capacity isn't where it needs to be. The second way that successful entrepreneurs turn their stress into success and build epic empires while experiencing epic health, happiness, and freedom is that they recognize that the best business strategy is not a business strategy at all. I'm Dr. Tracy Thomas, and I help entrepreneurs increase their impact and their income by gaining epic emotional strength. Now, in order to have the kind of emotional strength that can make you millions, I gotta bust a myth that is costing you more than you may realize. And for some of you, it's costing you everything. Now, the myth is that if you just find the right business strategy, the right financial strategy, and all the perfect systems to create the perfect plan and the perfect business, that everything will come together and you'll be wildly successful because you've somehow put all the pieces together in some perfect insider's formula. Well, the fact is that the best business plan is not a business plan at all. And in fact, the best business plan is an emotional plan. That is what makes the difference between the leaders and the survivors. The reality is that if you're not emotionally strong enough to meet the demands of your current scenario without stress, then your own emotional limitations will keep you at the level you're at because you're in a state of protection from what you already can't handle right now. So while you're grinding it out and you're trying to be successful and you're super stressed and overwhelmed and miserable and pretending, using all this energy to pretend that you're not when you are, then you will not go to the next level because you can only go to the next level if you're emotionally strong enough to stay focused from intention to outcome and make that happen quicker and do more of it. And in each day, you need to be able to do more of it and more of it without more stress. You need to have no emotional barrier from going from intention to outcome, delivering that, increasing that, and making everything scale the way that you want it to. It's your own pace of emotional struggle and the drag that the emotional issues are having on your focus and your capacity to deliver and create outcomes one after the other that is getting in the way. Your emotions and where you're overly sensitive, distracted, disturbed, procrastinating, unable to follow through, impacted, drained, reactive, and processing everything instead of just having an awareness to it and processing and focusing on only the one thing that you need to be doing in that moment. If you're not able to do that, then your own emotional limitations will just keep you stuck because you're not able to say to yourself subconsciously, I want more. Now your desire And your beautiful self, your purpose-driven self is saying, I want to do more. I want to create more. But your emotions are saying, I want to take a nap. I don't want to do anymore. I want to go on vacation. I don't want to get up out of bed every day. I want to pretend this isn't even happening. I built myself into more of a trap because I thought that becoming an entrepreneur and starting my own business was the answer to me feeling great, when in reality, that was something likely done because you're emotionally sensitive and you were trying to create life on your own terms, right? But if you are still emotionally sensitive and overwhelmed with stress and you're not emotionally strong enough, then you can't create the outcomes at the level you need them to. You can't deal with everything at the level you need to. You can't be the person that you need to be. And therefore, in reality, no matter how big your desire is, the truth is, you know you can't handle what you have at this moment. You know it's already too much. You know it's exhausting you and draining you, and this is why. The best business strategy is not a business strategy at all. It's an emotional strategy, and without it, you're going to block yourself from being more successful because the stress you have does not equal success. Right? This is why also so many people accomplish things, but they never feel emotionally successful. And if you can't feel emotionally successful in what you're doing now, then you can't achieve the highest levels of success because you won't have any ability to actually reside there. And the stress you feel right now, even if you kill yourself to create more accomplishments, the stress you feel now will just expand, which will continue to limit everything because you're just not strong enough to live in a consistent state of stressless success where the expansion of your empire does not expand your stress. And in fact, the expansion of your empire just keeps making you have more energy and more vitality and generates even more because it's such a powerful, rewarding experience. Now, the other myth that's important for you to understand is that somehow everyone else that is so successful around you knows how to do some certain set of strategies that you don't know how to do, right? It looks like that. There's all of these different ways, and like everybody just looks like they know all these different things, and it's overwhelming and confusing to know which systems and which strategies, and so you're just going all over the place trying to get the right formula and the pieces of the puzzle to come together. But the reality is this is not what you think. Because the truth is that the most successful people have the kind of emotional strength that allows them to stay focused and execute on their outcomes without being distracted by anything, including their emotions or the emotions of others. They don't have to fight through stress. They have a capacity to stay focused versus feeling the stress, which is absolutely critical to your success. And it doesn't matter in that way which systems you are using, because you can have all the systems in the world. You can have the best systems from the best business strategists, and if you don't have an emotional strategy, then none of them will work for you, and you'll be stuck wondering, why can't I be successful too? And you'll feel even worse about yourself. Okay, so the truth is, everyone, that the best business strategy is an emotional strategy. And that is what the real insiders are using. That's their strategy to make millions doing what they love. Emotional training is the missing ingredient to your business and financial strategies. And this is why so many people like you are struggling and why so many businesses fail no matter how hard people work, even when they're trying the greatest strategies under the sun. Consistently, I see so many amazing, talented, earnest, brilliant people who are stuck in the prison of having to work hard while feeling totally insecure 24/7 because they're just not secure at the emotionally foundational level. And they end up running out of the energy that it takes to keep working without the emotional strength they need. Again, they're breaking down mentally and physically, and they just want to check out of everything because it's just too much for them. They eventually just wind up being behind the eight ball, and they've got this whole bunch of stuff going on and they feel trapped in it. This is how my client Andrea was. A successful entrepreneur with a business that had been growing for 20 years and also growing in its way of imprisoning her into a life that felt completely overwhelming. And meanwhile, she wanted to head in different directions and start different businesses and grow them because she had new and innovative ideas in different areas. But she knew that if she was struggling to have the epic health, happiness, and freedom in this successful business that she'd created, then, it was just going to be the same way if she started something else. But as we went ahead and did this very incredible emotional training for her, and she developed emotional strength on an epic level in a very short period of time, Andrea began to triple her income in her current business while finding about 50% more available time to now begin to build her other two businesses. She's since started those two businesses and is now enjoying a life where her original business is continuing to grow by leaps and bounds while she works part-time in it, and her two other businesses are absolutely taking off, and now she feels more fulfilled than ever. Now she's impacting more people's lives, and her income is exponentially increasing every single day while doing what she loves. She's been able to maximize the profitability of her original business and start her two other businesses with the strong emotional foundation that's making them incredibly successful from the get-go. No more straining or struggling or going through this process of how hard it is to begin to build a business, because it's not hard when you build it from epic emotional strength. At the same time, Andrea has never been healthier. She's lost 20 pounds, and she's become a happy and humorous and fun-loving person that enjoys every day of her life now. So if you'd like to grow your business and your bottom line without growing your waistline and maybe losing your hairline, then there's some important things to keep in mind. And that is that this is super expensive for you. Where you are emotionally sensitive and vulnerable, you'll feel tired, overwhelmed, confused, and you'll be reactive and performing a version of a leader instead of living as one. Now, let me tell you that performing a version of a strong person is one of the most tiring things that people can do. So the best thing you could do for yourself is to become an emotionally strong person at the level you need to create the success that you want. Now, this is how you're going to become magnetic to your ideal client and a 5-star team, which we're going to focus on next up. So if you're ready to give your business and your life the emotional strategy that it needs, then contact us at drtracy.net and book a free breakthrough call so you can become your greatest asset instead of your greatest liability. If, however, you'd like to learn more about how to use epic emotional strength to build your empire, then stay with me as I show you how to become magnetic to your ideal client and your 5-star team. Let's dive in with how to become magnetic to your ideal client and your 5-star team, all without spending a dime more on advertising. So how does this all work? Well, the secret to having ideal clients and an ideal team is to be the emotionally strongest version of yourself. Okay, all of your relationship issues are caused by where you're not emotionally strong. And you cannot fix these issues by just trying to find the right people. So this is one of the biggest myths that I need to bust, is that if somehow we find the right people in our business, for our business, in our lives, in all of our relationships, that somehow everything is going to work, because it's all about these other people and where they're falling short, letting you down and not coming through and having issues. Well, here's the deal. You're attracting the very people that are at your actual emotional level. And what's happening with the people in your life and in your business, whether it be your team or your clients or your family or your partner, whatever it is, or your vendors or any of that, is what's happening is the cracks in your emotional foundation are being revealed to you. Again, the big myth is that if you somehow had just the right people in all of these right positions, that everything would be great and you have a bunch of problems with people. The fact is that you are the problem. Your emotional capacity isn't where it needs to be, and you're not able to handle, navigate, manage, and lead the outcomes that you want to lead, going from an intention you have through people to create that outcome. And if you're going to be somebody that builds an empire that's incredible in its impact and its income, all while you are experiencing epic health, happiness, and freedom, then you must be able to do this thing. You must be able to take an intention that you have and get an outcome through other people. Now, the only way that you're going to do that is by being the most emotionally strong leader that you can be. The strongest leader of your team, of your clients, in your business, and within all of your relationships, or you're going to be miserable and you're not going to be able to give people the value that you actually possess inside yourself, and things are going to be at a lower level, and that means your empire is not going to grow the way that it should, and neither is your impact, your income, nor your health, happiness, or freedom. In fact, these issues are what is keeping you from having the epic health, happiness, and freedom, which is why it's so important to gain emotional strength. So another thing that is really important for you to understand is that most people never encounter emotionally strong people in managers, in leaders, and even when they're clients paying for services with people who are supposed experts. The truth is that there are so few emotionally strong people that when you actually have it, you will be the greatest person that they've ever gotten to work with or work for or receive service from. And so the only way to have these emotionally strong relationships that create strong outcomes is to be that emotionally strong person yourself. Now, this goes for whatever kind of service and value you are delivering, because in the end, what people will continue to buy from you, or why they will continue to want to be connected with you, is because you are unique and you differentiate yourself from your high emotional capacity and high emotional strength, which is so rarely experienced in this world. When you become this emotionally strong, you will set yourself apart in ways that are obvious, but very much speaking to the person on an emotional level where things are mostly communicated without words. And this is where it really matters. Your emotional capacity is what people will feel. And if they don't feel it, they will not end up being your client. And even if they do, they won't be your ideal clients, and you will have a bunch of emotional dynamics and struggles between you that make you miserable. And if you don't have a high emotional capacity, you will end up hiring people that have this same issue, and that too will be a reason that you will be more stressed even though you're trying to build your empire in order to live the life that you're trying to live. And then this follows that when you then end up hiring people, you will experience people with a lot of emotional issues, and you will have a challenging time dealing with them, and you will avoid things, and you will let people get away with things, and your whole operation will be less than what it was supposed to be. And you will again be miserable and stressed. And this is the same exact thing that happens when people get into any kind of relationship and they're thinking, oh, this person isn't this or that, and they're not doing what I want, and they're disappointing me, and they're not showing up for me, and this is not what I wanted. And the reality is, this is your emotional issue showing up. If you are not emotionally strong, then you can never have emotionally strong relationships of any kind. They will always be causing you stress, and you will never experience the kind of stress you are trying to create when you get into any of these kinds of relationships. Now, what really, really frustrates me is when people never, ever have the success that they want because they are constantly in this quest, right, for the right people, the right relationships, and they are constantly looking outside themselves for what everyone else is doing wrong and what they're not doing. And this wastes so much energy. It's so completely draining. And when you recognize that building your emotional strength makes it easy to go from an intention that you have to an outcome that you want to get through another person, then this is really exciting. And relationships and teams and clients and all of the things that really make your life amazing are at your fingertips. And they're a lot different than you ever realized they could be. Now, when you have the emotional strength that you need, you're able to go from an intention that you have and an outcome that you want to achieve, and you're able to run that through another person without having emotional disturbance and emotional difficulty create unintended outcomes. In fact, this is a really important secret of those of us who are living an emotionally strong life and how it is that we're making this all happen. The reality is that your emotional strength is the key to your success, and without it, you'll be building an empire that's full of the kinds of relationships that you've struggled with from your family of origin and throughout your entire life. So to recap, your emotional foundation is the foundation of your business, and your leadership must include emotional strength. Now, gaining emotional capacity equates to accessing all of your capacity as a leader and all of the riches available to you when you are operating at that level. So the value of your emotional capacity is what you end up having to give to others. Otherwise, the people that you've hired and your clients, they can't even implement the tools you've given them because you don't have the emotional strength to transfer that emotional strength to them, which is also what they're going to need in order to be as successful as you want them to be. And more likely, you will experience a team of people and clients who drain you rather than consistently fulfill you and fuel you to create even more epic success. So if you want to attract incredible clients and a 5-star team, you have got to be at your top operating level. You've got to be the most emotionally strong, emotionally intelligent person that you can be, right? So that all of your ideas and your techniques and your innovations can be utilized to the best of their ability by your team and your clients to get the results that everybody's going for. So when you're operating at your top emotional capacity, not only will you have a 5-star team and the greatest people wanting to work for you, But you'll have more ideal clients than you'll know what to do with. And the great news is you'll have the emotional strength to deal with that success. So if you're ready to give your business and your life the emotional strategy that it needs, then contact us at drtracy.net and book a breakthrough call so that you can become your greatest asset instead of your greatest liability. Now, if it's important to you to learn how the health industry might be getting in the way of you having the epic emotional strength that you need, then stay tuned to the next part of this training. The other important area that successful entrepreneurs use in order to have that epic emotional strength to build their empire, their impact, and their income is that they understand the way that the current health industry is getting in the way of them being at the top of their game. Now, this is critical because we cannot build our empires and create the lives that we want when we are not at our optimal health and well-being. And more than ever, again, we're in a world where there's never been more health services and health products and more available information. And yet, in the greatest age in human history, where technology is expanding our lives, our opportunities, our intelligence, and our minds, somehow we are statistically sicker and more challenged than ever as a population. The statistics for anxiety, depression, chronic disease, and struggles of so many different kinds, both mental health and physiological health, have never been higher. People are really struggling. There is so much symptomology, so many aches and pains and difficulties that people are having, that an entirely new industry of medicine that's had to try to evolve to keep up with the dramatic chronic diseases that are developing in our society. More than ever, people are sick because of diseases that are caused by chronic stress. This is why emotional strength has never been more important. All the while, the health industry keeps giving you products and services to treat the symptoms of chronic stress, when emotional strength training is all about training yourself to not feel the stress that causes all of the dysfunction, the disease, and the symptoms in the first place. There's all these amazing, wonderful, well-intended practitioners, and they have so many offerings and services and strategies for how to address your symptoms. All of the therapies and the supplements and the integrative medicine and all of these things everything is designed to try to be helpful, right? All the organics, all the entire new wave of health industry focus and people that are getting rich because they're giving you products and services that are treating symptoms of chronic stress, which is what is causing all of these difficulties in the first place. Okay, so the reality is, if you are not chronically stressed, then your body operates as it's meant to, and your immune system knows exactly what to do with everything. We are designed to function and operate at a high level, but we aren't able to do it when emotional distress is chronic and we don't have a way to deal with it. When we look at emotional strength and why it's so important, you can ask yourself the question, just with this example that I'm going to give you. If you had anxiety or depression or any kinds of symptoms, do you want to get treated for anxiety or depression or any of your symptoms? Or do you want to eliminate the cause of it? Because if you're not eliminating the cause of it, then you're never actually going to get rid of it, because these things don't get rid of themselves. So you can ask yourself, Do I want to treat my anxiety, or do I want to live with the emotional strength that keeps me absolutely resistant and resilient from chronic disease and disorders and dysfunction and things that get in the way of my fulfillment and my success? I didn't think so. And that's why I need to bust another myth in order to help you out with all of this. And the myth is that if you do the perfect healthy lifestyle, if you do all of the perfect foods, all of the perfect organics, all of the supplements, you do all of the therapies, all of the the chiropractic, the massage, the Reiki, the the therapist, the health coach, the recovery coach, the 12 steps. If you do every single one of these things, right? If you sleep the perfect amount, if you do all of these things, then somehow you're going to be healthy. Well, the fact is that that isn't true. And every single day, myself and my team, we talk to people who have been spending a fortune on all of these doctors and all of these products and all of these services, only to end up still feeling completely wrecked, out of gas, and lost and hopeless and scared to death of what's going to happen to them. Because what we do is dramatically different. We actually get to the root cause of the problems. We do an extensive set of evaluations on all of our clients, so we know literally everything there is to know about every part of them. We deeply get into the minutia, so we're not operating on any assumptions, and we're not requiring you to go do a bunch of extra things to be healthy, when helping you at the root causal level is the most efficient and empowering way to do it. Now, because of these extensive evaluations, we know exactly what's causing the issues that are keeping people from being at their absolute best. And once we understand that, we know exactly how to train you to have the top emotional operating capacity and the top emotional strength to build your empire and to live your life with epic health, happiness, and freedom. Now, why is this important? It's important because we live in a world now where there's going to be a constant state of stimulus, and your nervous system cannot handle it unless you build the emotional strength to make yourself super solid from the inside out. This is like creating a new kind of immune system so that you are strong and capable of living in a new world that has all kinds of new things and new toxicities and new landscape and new terrain, right? This is a new environment, and we've got to get ourselves emotionally strong enough so that we can have the physical strength to deal with it. We've got to develop the emotional strength so that our entire operating system, both emotionally and physiologically, can operate at the level that it needs to in this new environment that's only going to get more complex and have a lot of new aspects to it that we've never experienced before. Now, let me tell you, I've been there. I was somebody just like so many people today who at a very young age, because I was so emotionally sensitive to begin with, I started experiencing extreme emotional turmoil from a very young age. Even though I was smart, charismatic, there was always this burden of these emotions and the feeling of all kinds of other people's emotions. And as I went through my life, this was so overwhelming to me that I ended up having a serious eating disorder. I had to do whatever I could to try to calm my system down because the world was just so overly stimulating to me. Now this eating disorder was so bad that at a certain point It would just be like my car would be driving me to the store and I'd think, who the hell is operating this heavy machinery? And this went on for years, and I felt powerless to take control of my life. And I felt like this was all stealing my potential as a person. I even got so bad that I developed an autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's thyroid, where my whole system just could not withstand what it was that I needed to deal with in life. And I was told that I was supposed to spend the rest of my life just resting and eating perfectly and doing all kinds of things just to take care of my fragile little sensitive self. When in reality, my soul, my spirit, and my drive and my purpose was compelling me to become the person that I always knew I was meant to be. So I struggled for years and years in my young life, and I did everything I could to develop the methodology that I use on my clients today. And because nobody was going to help me, nobody understood this, no therapist, no psychiatrist, no one in my family, and none of the really well-intended people that I went to try and get help. So I did everything that I could, and I put all the pieces together, and I was able to eliminate the eating disorder as if it never existed. And the same thing with the autoimmune disorder. It became a thing of the past, never to return again. Now, this was incredibly important to me because it freed me from ever having to deal with weight and diets and a lifestyle of all kinds of doctors and perfect diets and perfect products. And this freed me from an eating disorder, from dieting, from a focus on food, from a chronic lifestyle of being a patient with all of these expensive doctors, expensive medications, and expensive products and services that were not working anyway. And the key was that this epic emotional strength that came from this incredible methodology that I created freed me so that I now live the life of my dreams with a business and really living a purpose of what I love and really living a life of purpose and impact that I love and having an income that is limitless along with a partner that is an incredible husband and a family of my dreams. Now, this all came from building epic emotional strength instead of expecting the health industry to be the answer to my problems, when in reality, it was actually keeping me sick. Now, if you relate to any of this, then you want to make sure that you're becoming healthy and staying healthy for the rest of your life at the foundational level. Otherwise, what'll happen to you is what happens to most people. As life is going by, the wear and tear is too much. You become more sensitive, more vulnerable, and you lose steam, and you spend the rest of your life in even more of a survival state instead of powering up and producing more and enjoying life all the way to your last breath. So if that's something you're interested in, so that you can grow your empire and grow your health all at the same time, then it's important to get the proper kinds of evaluations to make sure that your emotional strength is built at the foundational level so your health and well-being can be the best they can possibly be. If you'd like to live a life where your emotional strength creates all the physiological strength and energy you could desire, then go to drtracy.net and book a breakthrough call so that you can become your greatest asset instead of your greatest liability. However, if you'd like to completely round out your training on gaining epic emotional strength, then you can stay tuned as we look at the number one difference between people who hope to succeed and people who know they will succeed. Okay, so continuing on, we're looking at the number one difference between entrepreneurs who just hope to succeed and the entrepreneurs that know they will succeed. And that difference is the way in which they hack human performance and potential and take the shortest, simplest, strongest route to everything that they want to achieve. This one is a game changer, everyone, and that's by becoming an emotionally strong person through working with an emotional strength trainer. Let's just take a look at this, okay? Because there's another myth that is keeping people from doing all they're meant to do with their empires and their impact and their income. And that is that you should just know how to be an emotionally strong person. But the fact is that most people don't have a clue. If they did, again, we would not have so many amazing, intelligent, purpose-driven, innovative, caring, and cool people struggling not only with their businesses and their relationship, but we would not have a culture of people who are actually struggling in so many different ways with their business, with their relationships, and with their emotions in general. And we wouldn't have the need for so many therapists and coaches and every kind of practitioners you can think of that are popping out of the woodwork. Okay, so being an emotionally strong person is a very unique thing. And the people that know how to be this way are the only ones that can transfer this to you. And the ones that know how to be this way are the ones that are having all the fun. They have a higher quality of life, they have more longevity, and they just have a complete blast along the way, creating exactly what they intended to, with nothing getting in the way for themselves and their families and their clients and everybody's lives they were meant to touch while they're here to live the purpose they're meant to live. And these are the kind of people that are leading an incredible charge, and they're leading tribes of people to have the best lives they could possibly have. And they're leaving incredible legacies that continue to do great things even after they're gone. Now, if this is what you're going for, if you feel called to serve and lead your tribe, including your family, your friends, the people that you care about, your clients, your community, the tribe of people that you feel called to serve, then emotional strength is an essential aspect that you're going to need to develop. And when you do that with an emotional strength trainer, then that mentorship allows you to cut through all of your emotional dynamics that aren't serving you. It allows you to upgrade them, and then you have more energy, more output, more connection, more time, more experience, and your entire ride as a person is just smoothed out for you, right? This removes the wear and tear so that you go through life without the emotional turmoil that you're experiencing now. This allows you to reverse your stress-related illnesses, symptoms, problems, and struggles. This allows you to go well ahead of your time as a leader of yourself and the people that you want to lead in this life. And this allows you to be an incredible leader of others without taking anything from yourself. So it's an incredibly important thing to understand that when you are building an empire, when you are leading one in your family, your business, your relationships, and everything that you do, it's important to understand that your emotional capacity is of the utmost importance, because everyone that you're leading and everything that you're facilitating in all the details, in every part of it, and every person involved in it, now and for the rest of your life, in everything that you're doing, everything will be determined by your emotional capacity. And if you don't have the emotional strength to lead a larger group of people, to lead a larger charge, to lead what it is that you're here serving people with, helping them become experts in what it is they need to be doing better, then you will not be able to have those people come into your life for you to give them the gifts you're meant to give them. So this is incredibly important, whatever it is that you're here serving people with, being it legal advice or financial advice or accounting advice, or especially any kind of personal coaching or professional coaching of any kind. Whatever you're doing, helping them grow their assets, their real estate, whatever it is, grow their health and their well-being. Any of these things will be dependent on your emotional strength to be able to lead all of that, all of those outcomes for all of those people. And it will require the kind of emotional capacity that is the only thing that will allow you to grow the way you want to grow without being at the effect of what it is that you're doing. This is what allows you to become invincible, immune, fulfilled, light, fun, and free to meet every situation with a predictable capacity, so you're consistent, secure, and you're building without breaking down. So you can lead the charge instead of being stampeded on. And folks, this is how you hack human performance, right? With an expert and a mentor that can help you gain emotional strength quickly, effectively, and efficiently, so that you can have the highest quality of life that you're seeking and an incredible extension of your longevity as a person, so you can make more impact, more income, and be the healthiest and happiest version of yourself along the way. Okay, so through strengthening yourself, your body will heal, repair, regenerate, so you're not going to be bumped and bruised along the way anymore. You'll feel more bionic, and you'll bring all of your potential forth in the purpose you're meant to be doing. And this will allow you not to have to fight through your life to do what it is you're here to do, but to be the force of nature you're meant to be. Understand that by hacking human performance and potential through gaining emotional strength and raising your emotional capacity, you are cutting through. You are eliminating every barrier that's been in your way and every barrier that could show up in the future. And you're going to be able to do that for everyone you love, everyone you care about, everyone you're leading, and everyone that you meet along the way. This is what it's like to live your full potential and turn your stress into success. So if you want to live a higher emotional capacity and live with the highest emotional strength so that you can cut through all the emotional weight and all of the obstacles and everything that ends up distracting you and disturbing you from the mission that you are on here in this life, then it's important to work with an emotional strength trainer who can show you the ropes and train your emotional muscles into world-class shape. So if you want the kind of success that feels easy and just integrates into everything that you do, instead of the kind of success that multiplies your work, then you want emotional strength training. If you want an emotionally successful experience, instead of feeling enslaved in the work that you do, then emotional strength training can change everything for you, because it's your emotions and the level that they're operating on that can lead you to multiply your success without multiplying your stress. And this was a perfect example of what happened for my client Susie, who's a psychologist, where she came to me in the beginning. She said, I thought I was equipped for life because I had knowledge. But knowledge isn't the same as emotional strength. And now I know the difference, and I actually feel wholeheartedly equipped for life. And I feel like bring it on, anything and everything that can come my way. And she said, it's finally ready for me to elevate my entire life, and I now have the strength to do it. Susie's transformation was so complete that she came to such a level of empowerment that she was telling me, whatever comes my way, I'm ready for anything. Now that's an amazing way to live every moment of every day. But there's one catch to all of this, and that is that this is not for everyone. This is for people who are relentlessly committed to building their empires, their impact, and their income using epic emotional strength. This is not for people who are okay suffering, settling, and surviving each day. So you must be somebody that is absolutely relentlessly committed to building your empire, your impact, and your income using epic emotional strength. This is not for people who are not able to invest in becoming their greatest asset instead of their greatest liability. This is for people that see themselves as the most important and valuable asset that they have, and who are willing to pull out all the stops so that their life is no longer costing them everything that they want. And instead, their epic emotional strength is creating the epic life that they've always wanted. Okay, everyone, it's important to keep in mind that having epic emotional strength is the number one key for peak productivity in life, and hacking all of the work that other people do and all of the work you've had to do before, and being able to accelerate your life forward. It's an accelerator for everything you want and an eliminator of everything you don't want. It's important to get the right training so that you can internalize this emotional strength and change your life from here on out. Because it's not just knowing that you need epic emotional strength. It's actually like working out at the gym, and you need the right trainer to build the exact right muscles over time with you. And that's where we come in. So if any of you feel like Susie did, and you would like to hack all of this effort that comes when you're super emotionally sensitive and you don't have the emotional strength that you really need to build your empire, your impact, and your income, all while experiencing epic health, happiness, and freedom, and you want to equip yourself to build your life using epic emotional strength, then reach out to us at drtracy.net and book your breakthrough call so you become your greatest asset, not your greatest liability anymore. If that's you, we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.